Hey, my name's James Armstrong from AWT Sourcing, and a lot of people ask me, if I had 5 grand, how would I get into property? And especially if I was starting out all over again, what would I be doing? And I've spoken about this before, but I freaking love deal sourcing. And not just because you can get into it with very, very little money, usually £2,000 or less just for your compliance, but actually it teaches you all the different aspects of running a property business and doing property deals. The bottom line is you get practice and training doing deals before you have enough money to do it for yourself. So when you do, everything becomes easier. You have contractors, you have agents, you have deals, you have investors, you know how to deliver deals, you know how to manage refurbs and buy houses and sort out lending. You know, deal sourcing is freaking awesome for all of this because it teaches you about all the different strategies, it teaches you about business, and it teaches you how to deliver a deal. And if you're looking to get into deal sourcing, there's kind of only 3 things you need to focus on. Number 1 is just getting your company set up, dealing with the compliance, and there's loads and loads and loads of free content out there. I've even done a video on it myself. There's free videos in my online course that you can check out for it. There's books and forums. So if you need help getting compliant, I promise you, just Google it. You'll find out what you need to know. The second thing is around the deal size. You need to know how to find a good deal. A lot of people are like, well, what strategy do I choose? Do I do rent to rents or lease options or HMOs? And what's the best thing to do? There is no right or wrong answer here. Bottom line is every single strategy makes money. That's why it's a strategy. If it didn't work, it wouldn't be out there. So you could pick any strategy you like. I would choose the one when you're first getting started that you know how to do best, that you're most comfortable with, that you're finding the most number of leads and deals with. If you're good on the phones with agents, you like just hammering those leads and trying to convince landlords and agents of doing things like rent to rent, then I would say do rent to rent, sell rent to rent. There's tons of people want to buy rent to rents. If you prefer looking at the asset side of space, or you like looking at the regulation and looking at the refurbs, getting houses sorted for rentals, then HMOs are probably going to be more up your street. Maybe you like doing flips and buy refurbs. Whatever it is that you're good at is where I would start. Don't try and overcomplicate this. Don't try and reinvent the wheel. If you know how to find good deals, go out and find some good deals, and then you move on to step 3. But don't worry too much about the kind of strategy. Don't worry too much about the area or anything like that. If the deal is good, someone will be buying it. As you begin to perfect that strategy, you can begin to add more strategies to your arsenal. The same way as you run out of leads in one area and you get better at vetting areas, once you get good at one, you can add another one in, and then you add another one in, and then you add another one in. And that's how you can begin to cover more and more areas. You don't just do it all overnight. You do one at a time, you do one strategy at a time, one area at a time, and gradually build up your skills in the deal sourcing space. The third aspect of running a deal sourcing business is the sales side. So you need clients, you need someone to sell to. That's your investors. And you're going to need to know how to sell. So you need to understand how to pitch a deal. What do people want to know about deals? Understanding where the risk is in your deals. What could possibly go wrong? How have you mitigated that? How have you accounted for that? You need to know how to evidence deals and demonstrate that you know your figures and the figures are right. So if you've got rental figures there, how do you know they're right? At some point you would have checked this in the deal sourcing process. Pitching and selling and evidencing a deal is exactly the same as what you did beforehand. You're just telling someone what you did and then providing evidence of that. And of course, the finding the clients part, finding the investors. How do you go about doing that? It kind of is as simple as it says on the tin. You go out and you talk to people. I know it sounds stupid, but it's genuinely true. You just want to get out there and start having conversations with people. Now, sure, some areas and some places are better than others. You know, if you're going down to your local Sainsbury's on a Friday night, you're probably not going to find as many investors as if you went to a networking event or a seminar, but the principle is still the same. Get out and start talking to people, and then focus on going to places where you think there's going to be more money. Traditionally, networking events, seminars, your local hobbies, friends and family, and so on. It's just a case of getting out there and talking to people. Once you have begun to build up a list of your investors and a list of people who want to buy deals, and you begin to build some rapport with them, find out what it is they want to do. Why are they investing? How much money do they have? What kind of deals do they want to get into? And does that solve their first problem of why are they investing? If they're investing for cash flow, then buy-to-lets or flips probably aren't going to help them out very much. Something like an HMO or maybe a rent-to-rent would work better because they make more money every month. You're focusing on the cash flow. But the point of all this is your investors are going to give you a list of stuff that they want you to go and find. So whilst most deal sourcing companies aren't bespoke, you're only going to find deals that you know your people want to buy. So it's an element of bespoke. And it's these conversations with investors ultimately that's going to mean you build more rapport and you're better able to sell anyway. So have a conversation with them, find out what they want, and then go and find it. If it fits with what you do, brilliant. If it doesn't, That's cool. A lot of people come to me for rent-to-rents. We don't really do much in the way of rent-to-rents. We sell pretty much every other type of deal. We don't do much in rent-to-rents. So if someone comes to me and asks for rent-to-rents, what do? I have two options. I can pass them over to someone I trust who knows how to find them rent-to-rents, or I can ask the person I trust for a deal and take a little bit of commission selling it on. Why not? And that brings me on to the final point that I want to make. If you have deals and you want to sell them and you haven't yet moved on to stage 3 where you're finding and selling deals for yourself, look at co-sourcing. Find someone who sells deals. Find a compliant, competent deal sourcer who you want to work with and say, hey, I've got a deal. I need to sell it. I don't have any investors. Would you sell it for me? Everybody wins in that situation. I, as a deal sourcer, want more deals. You, as someone who has a deal, wants to sell it, wants to make some money from it. So there's already a synergy there. There's a business relationship, and it's kind of like a joint venture. And I mentioned that in deal sourcing, you're going to learn about all the different aspects of running a property business just because it's in your interest, because that's what deal sourcing is. And this is the thing. Most deal sourcers offer a hand-holding process. Most deal sourcers will co-source. You're already beginning to work out the joint venture side of things. You're already working out how to find investors so you can buy your own projects in the future using other people's money. And you're already beginning to learn how to deliver a site, furnishings, tenancy compliance, managing refurbs, financing, purchase, the whole thing. You're learning how to do it all along the way. So find someone who has some synergy with you, start doing a joint venture. That's kind of all deal sourcing is anyway. You're finding someone who has something, who wants something, you're finding something that they need, you tie the two together, problem solved. So, in conclusion, if you have a deal, give me a shout. I'd love to work with you. And if you have less than $5,000, I think DealSource is probably going to be the best place for you to start just because of what it teaches you. Oh, and did I mention you get paid like $3,000 a deal? So it's pretty easy to earn a salary in this space. Yeah, DealSource is pretty awesome. And that's why I started it. And that's why AWT still does it now. With development deals and buy, refurb, refinance and flips and HMOs, deal sourcing is awesome. If you've liked this video, then smash the thumbs up button. If you haven't, then that's cool. Hit that one instead. And make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss a future upload. Until next time, take care.